Welcome back, folks. So we are back on the Saxon. Yes, I do like my Saxon. Anyway, on this video we're going to cover brakes, rear suspension. We're doing the rear left spring and brake servos, master cylinders, brake pedal, a few bits and pieces. So lots to watch. So grab yourself that cup of tea, sit back and relax and enjoy. Hi, I'm Ross and you're watching Combat Cars. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I got the leaf springs back from Portlaoise Springs and they've refurbished them. Didn't really have to do too much. They replaced the centre pin and the clamps as well. The bolts and the clamps and that were a bit rough, so they replaced those. So what I'm going to do now today is going to fit this spring in place and get a coat of paint then down this left side of the vehicle. So yeah, let's get on with that. Alright, so I'm going to start by putting a bit of copper grease or anti-seize grease onto these pins. I'm going to start with the back end here and see if I can get the back end to lift up as far as the shackle. Now, I think I'll put it in the top first actually. Yeah, I'm not expecting this to be easy. Now we're getting there. Right, that's the back shackle on. I want to leave it loose so that it'll rock easily to get the front one in position. I'm going to jack this up now in a second. Alright guys, what we're looking at here is the master cylinders and air actuators out of the Saxon. So this bit being the master cylinder, this bit being the air actuator. This one here is the original one we had. We have two of those, but we're missing the master cylinder off the end. I couldn't find any reference to what the cylinder should be. So anyway, I had to replace the whole unit. I'd say this was probably perished inside anyway, so it wouldn't be much good to you. Anyway, let's move that out of the way for a minute till we talk about these, what they are. Alright, so this is the unit, this being the air part, like I said, and this is the hydraulic cylinder. So the system is called, what they refer to as air over hydraulic. So that means that it's air acting on the hydraulic cylinder. And that's different from your standard car, because what happens with the car is you don't have the air, you just have the hydraulic system. So you have a master cylinder at the pedal, and then you have wheel cylinders at the wheels, and it just puts the hydraulic pressure down. The reason they put the air in is because it gives you more power, gives you more pressure, more PSI acting on the cylinder, and then obviously in turn more pressure acting on the brakes, so you have more powerful brakes. And then the next step up from this would be just air on its own. There'd be no hydraulic system, so the air would just act straight on. A much simpler system as well. And this was sort of phased out really in favour of just air brakes. Most trucks just have air brakes. Anyway, that's not what we have. We have air over hydraulic. So it's quite simple. When you press the pedal, it acts on a actuator as well, so it pushes the air pressure from one area into this area, but the air tanks allow it to multiply, so you're actually able to put on a hell of a lot more force with your foot. There's two of these in the Saxon. The way it's done is one acts on the rear axle and the other one acts on the front axle. Some manufacturers, what they would do is it would actually actuate or act on crossing wheels, so in other words front left and rear right and vice versa. And the idea of that is you have a redundancy, so if one fails you can still stop the vehicle, because I think it's something like 70% of the braking or something is done with the front axle. If you lost the front one, say on the Saxon, and you were only operating on the rear brake system, you're losing a lot of braking power there. Alright, so this is how they sit in the vehicle. And if you imagine, that's the front and that's the back, and they sit in the side of the hull up beside the engine, so, and they oppose each other like this. The side of the hull being at a slope, so this would actually be sitting in the vehicle like that. So there you can see now the bleed screw is to the top here, and this elbow joint here is at the top, and that's the way it sits. So this is actually the rear one. Now, this is where I run into problems, because I have two rear ones and no front one. So this one sits in like that, and if I was to fit this one at the same angle, you can see there now, this will be the outlet there for the air, or the inlet, I don't know which it is, and this one here then bleed screws to the side, and it should be up here. So I'm going to have to make some changes here. I'm not sure exactly how yet. I might have to make maybe a new bracket here or something to be able to rotate the whole unit so that it faces the right way. But anyway, that's it. That's where we're at. Okay, so I think the plan here is going to be, hopefully all I have to do is move this plate from that position to this position. So, and that might be enough to do it. Wait a second, go down this way first. There we go. Right. Okay, so at first I thought I was going to have to make a new bracket, but I don't think I do. So, and it makes sense because the units are handed. So what I done was, it was on that way, but when I turn it around this way, it will fit. The bolts will line up. Okay, let me see, I'll show you that there. These bolts will line up. What doesn't line up though is this little fellow here. So there's just not quite enough room here. So I'm going to have to make an indent there, I think. And then I think if that was that way, that would be sitting correctly then. Because that would go on that way. Yeah, I think that'll be it. Okay. Mark that up and I'll see about, just cut a wee groove there. Alright, so we cut the groove out there. I just threw a little bit of paint on it to make sure it doesn't start rusting again. Right, let's see if this works. So we want that to go on that way, don't we? Happy days! Gasket. We'll put you on that way. Now that should go that way. Now, let's compare that to the other one. Alright, that seems to have done the trick. So this is the one we didn't change. And you can see there, when we rotate that to suit the angle of the hull, this is uppermost and that's uppermost as well. And this is the one we just done. So, and that takes into account the angle of the hull, and this are uppermost. So I think that done the job. Happy days. Now to fit them. Oh, one other thing I have to do, and that is that back pipe is now facing the wrong way. So when you compare it to this one, it needs to be facing the same direction-ish. Okay, so that's both the unions pointed in the correct direction now. The next job is to fit them. So I don't know if you can see them from there, but these two brackets here and those two brackets, that's where the master cylinders are going to go, the air actuators. There we go, gotcha. That's that. One in and the pipe. Now we'll fit the other one. And job's a good one. Now, that's it. That's them in. Right, and you see there's a broken stud here. I'm going to have to try and get that out. Not a lot to grip. So there's not enough left of the broken stud to put the vice grips on. So I'm going to try and cut a track in it. You take it out like most of that stud out. I'm just going to try and wind this 6mm tap up into it. It might work. Now to clean these all up and get them ready to clean. I think that should do it. It's just a key to paint and get a bit of surface rust off it. Time to assemble this brake pedal here, so that's what we're going to do now. There. Right. That's better. There, put a bit of copper grease on all of this stuff. That'll do it. There. Trim these off now so they look a bit better. Now, yeah. Is it that way it goes? There we go. That's better. Now, that's it. There we go. That's me. There, that's it. One brake pedal, done.